Yeah, I'm still sticking with my prediction. I'm thinking somebody is going to take Duda out by the season finale of this season, and then we'll just like any good storyline, you're going to get, and like the real world, you're going to get a new big bad boss. And I think that's just going to be, like this realistic viewpoint of how the world works. Just because you get rid of Duda doesn't mean the Shy is going to be this all of a sudden happy, free place. Duda gets taken out, and you're going to have somebody filling in his place. Who's going to fill in this place? I'm thinking it's going to be Alicia, played by Lynn Whitfield. That is going to be the person filling the place. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Ryan Reviews Everything. And this episode had plenty to talk about. We were talking about the latest episode of The Shy. Sheesh, man. And for those who are new to this channel, I do jump around. This will be a spoiler review because you can't have a recap without some spoilers. So just bear with me. We're going to jump around. So with being that we're jumping around, let's start with the elephant in the room. Rest in peace to Pastor Stanley, man. Oh, it was definitely sad to see him go. And unfortunately, I felt like this if you paid attention with this episode, like the signs were kind of written all throughout this episode that this may have been, that this was going to be Pastor Stanley's final episode. We get the Heart to Heart podcast that kind of comes out of nowhere. This Heart to Heart podcast between Papa and Pastor Stanley, his father. And it was like this very, very heartfelt moment. He gives him this, watch that's been passed down to generations. In addition to that, of course, we have them bumping heads, and you know how it goes. It's like you have regret when the last thing, when the last interaction of a loved one is something that's kind of like an argument or where you guys don't see eye to eye. So we got those two things, and even another thing, we see like the, this awkward stare down between Pastor Stanley and Duda himself when Duda is trying to talk to, or wanted to talk to Bakari at the graduation. So I don't know, it just felt like there was a lot of telltale signs throughout this episode that this was going to be Pastor Stanley's final episode. So once again, I was definitely heartbroken to see that. Despite the fact that he did, he wasn't necessarily like this corrupt pastor or anything. Despite the fact that he did go to jail for working with Duda a few seasons back, he still had a good heart. He still meant well. So that kind of sucks to see him go. But on to the other things. If Pastor Stanley didn't die, I would have brought this up first. I am still so happy that The Shy is really highlighting, I guess, like some type of mental health and like just support amongst, black men. We definitely, and they're making these pretty in-depth dialogues, and I like that. So we definitely see them supporting each other, everybody, not necessarily going into too much detail about what they got going on, but they're like letting them know, hey man, I'm stressed, I need y'all help, hey, just pray for me. From Victor not wanting to give all the details about his run-ins with the FBI. Shad, I felt like he wanted to talk about him backsliding with, of course, taking money into the house. And I felt like that was a BS excuse about, oh man, I'm just lusting after women. Just watch over me. So you got these other things like that. Once again, I think that's such a huge blessing to see something like that in the show like The Shy. So I thought that was very dope. But on to like the drama that these other people got going on. I do think that's clever. That's more so the clever approach that Victor took. Victor, instead of, I know gangsters do snitch, but something about Victor's character, formerly known as Trig, something about his character doesn't scream that he's built that way to be cooperating or working with the FBI, even if he is in office. So I think it was very clever for him to be like, you know what? Let me go tell Rob what I really know. And then now Rob was like, all right, well, you know what I got to do now, right? And this is where my prediction or theory comes in. I know I said it earlier or a few episodes back, but let's get into it again. My prediction, all this tension is building up throughout the Shy, and people really don't rock with Duda like that. It's almost like if anybody does cooperate with him, they're in a really bad place, or they cooperate with him out of fear. Something of those two things, in my opinion. Anyway, all this tension is building around Duda, and people really don't like him. But yeah, I'm still sticking with my prediction. I'm thinking somebody is going to take Duda out by the season finale of this season, and then we'll just like any good storyline, you're going to get, and like the real world, you're going to get a new big bad boss. And I think that's just going to be, like this realistic viewpoint of how the world works. Just because you get rid of Duda doesn't mean the Shy is going to be this all of a sudden happy, free place. Duda gets taken out, and you're going to have somebody filling in his place. Who's going to fill in this place? I'm thinking it's going to be Alicia, played by Lynn Whitfield. That is going to be the person filling the place. And this is why. I mean, when you think about it, one, she just wants revenge for whoever killed Q. And now that it's confirmed that it's Duda, gonna kill Q to kill Duda for that. And no one really, I mean, granted, it's not like we see her a lot. We've seen her a few times this season. No one really knows what her profession is. Yeah, she has a lot of money. I understand that Q, her older brother, was the person who was taking care of her in the first place. But yeah, like she has enough money to put a hit out on whoever killed Q, and she's paying a shit ton of money toward Rob, her son, to get the job done. So that's just me. I really feel like we're going to get a new villain by the end of season 6, and that villain is going to be Alicia. And also, let's go to other people who don't like Duda and wanted to get him out of there. When Emmett stepped to Duda with the gun, I thought I was watching some type of imagination in his mind. I didn't know he was just going to straight up step to Duda like that with the damn gun. And of course, Emmett ain't built like that, which is something Darnell clearly told him, like, yo, you ain't built like that. And we definitely see why he's not built like that. He, of course, didn't pull the trigger. Wasn't the smartest thing to do. Once again, wasn't the smartest thing to do, especially when you've seen Duda kill people for less. So I actually was kind of on the edge of my seat thinking, yo, this might be the end of Emmett. Like, that was bold as hell. But I also think, clearly Emmett, he reacts without thinking a lot of times. And this was one of those occasions. And on top of that, like, I think that's another incentive for why Duda will be gone by the time the season's over. Ain't no way in hell he's going to make all that money to like buy out or pay out Duda. Like, yes, you own the chicken place in Chicago, but you're talking about paying him back, and if I'm not mistaken, paying him back for Duda opening another franchise for you in New York. You're talking about paying Duda back for, I guess fronting you the money to get your baby mama a car. Paying Duda back for apparently a down payment for this house that you and your girlfriend are living in. So that's being that it's so unrealistic. Like, he would be in Duda's debt forever. Therefore, somebody's taking Duda out. That's it. I know I'm going on too long about it. That's just it. Also, I thought there was a lot of heart-to-heart moments, or just real conversations throughout this entire episode. We have Jamal, played by Vic Mensa, talking to Bakari in the car, and he was just letting him know, like, hey, man, just really spitting some real game to him. Like, yo, man, you don't want to be in prison like I was. You got people treating you like a dog, telling you when you can eat, when you can sleep, when you can, use the bathroom. So, and I felt like, even though it wasn't, seen on the show, I do feel like Jamal apparently told Bakari about that men's meetup group. Therefore, that's why we see Bakari and have him opening up about his sister. And speaking of Bakari and his sister, I thought that was a great reunion. And although Maisha's hating, I do feel like we're going to get some type of bomb-ass collaboration song between Bakari's sister and Maisha. And that sounded so good. Like, I wonder, and once again, I'm approaching 40, so I'm not the most keen or most up to date with like the current rappers. But I want to know, like, is she really a rapper? Because if she's not a rapper and that was all an act, she did a damn good job. Like, she performed as if she's a real rapper, which I'm on the brink of just assuming she really raps for real, and I would love to check out her music. So, if you know her name, hey, please leave it in the comments. I'll check it out, because the way she killed that kick push freestyle was amazing. So, of course, there's going to be a Maisha and Bakari, collaboration with Bakari's sister. So yeah, man, I know there's plenty else to get into. We got that, dumb issue, in my opinion, of Dre still flirting with the idea of keeping cool with her ex, which of course, it is believable. I know that people keep in contact and are just, legit cool friends with exes. But not if it was on a level where y'all almost got married. This is, you're talking about an ex-fiance. This isn't just an ex-boy. I mean, this isn't like an ex-girlfriend that you dated a few months and y'all just wasn't vibing. This is somebody who almost married. I think it's a bad idea to keep in touch with somebody on that level. Once again, if it was just an ex that y'all dated for a few months, even if you dated for a couple years and you know what, it didn't work out, we're better as friends, cool. But trying to keep in contact with someone you almost married and you had so much emotions and time invested in, I think that's a dangerous game that Dre is playing. And clearly, Jada and Tracy feel the same way for obvious reasons. And I'm gonna leave with this. I really enjoyed the entire episode. How Kevin rolled throughout the entire episode. Staying firm about, hey, I'm going to California. Although, his mom, Nita, clearly, I wouldn't say disapproved, but I guess was sad about it, which makes sense. This is your son talking about he, out of nowhere wants to move to LA and he's going to get fully sponsored for it. I thought it was very cute that Dre was in full support once the news was dropped, but you understand why Nina didn't feel the same way. We definitely see that it seems like Maisha would be open for a long distance relationship with that. And then, of course, Kevin gives the beautiful graduation speech and makes that announcement to everybody about him moving to LA. And although he's going to LA, the Chi will always be with him. This is not the final season. We will have a season 7. So who knows? Like, I wonder what's going to happen with the Kevin storyline from season 7. I hope it's not one of those things to where he moves to LA and we just don't see him again. I hope he's still tied into season 7 in some way, in some form. So love it or hate it, man.